Hello everyone. We're going to talk about diatonic substitutions. What they mean, how it's used, what kind of situations are good for substituting for chords and for arpeggios and soloing. So today's focus is going to be on diatonic substitutions. Let's get right into it. If you want to study more examples of the subject we talked about in this video, you can always download J.A.M app, which is a jazz education app from the Apple App Store. You can find more examples, more music, more videos there, and you can even check out the backing tracks that I'm going to add to study all these examples. Again, the app is called J.A.M, in short J.A.M, or J.A.M, and you can download it from Apple Store, and I'm going to share a download link to the Apple Store. Thanks. Okay, first let's try to explain the theory of it. If you take a D minor ninth chord, D minor ninth chord has D as root, F as the third, A as the fifth, C as the seventh, and E as the ninth of the chord. But D minor ninth is a 5-note chord, but it shares some notes with F major seventh. As a matter of fact, F major 7th chord tones are F, A, C, E, which is included in D minor 9th. So by the same token, if you think about the other chords, like let's take a major 2-5-1, D minor 7, G7, 1 major 7, which is C major 7. So you could easily substitute G 9th with B minor 7 flat 5, or C major 9 with E minor 7. You could apply the same thing to minor 2-5-1. For minor 2-5-1, we have D minor 7 flat 5. The chord tones of that is D, F, A flat, and C. You have the same chord tones in A flat major 7 sharp 11. At least 3 of them. In A flat major 7 sharp 11, you have G natural instead of F, but the remaining 3 notes are common. So those two are substituted. For G7 flat 9, you can substitute it for A flat diminished 7. For C minor 9th, you can use E flat major 7 for substitution. So I have another video that I published about chord tones and approach tones, if you haven't seen that already, because we're going to use some of those techniques in here. If you haven't seen that video already, you can click on the link in the description for chord tones and approach tones video. Okay, here's first line example, diatonic substitutions. Let's listen to it. Okay, as you can see from the notation from the sheet music, the chords in parentheses are the diatonic substitutions. Actually, the chords are D minor 7, G7, and C major 7, but in the example line, F major 7, B minor 7 flat 5, and E minor 7 is superimposed over those changes. Let's take another example. Our second example starts with a B flat major 7 arpeggio over G minor. It's a major 7 chord from the third, just like the previous example. And then on the second bar, it basically plays E minor 7 flat 5 arpeggio. And then after that, it resolves to A minor 7. What happens if we use the same technique with a minor 2-5-1? Here's a minor 2-5-1 example. This time, first chord is D minor 7 flat 5 is substituted with A flat major 7 sharp 11. It has a distinct sound, major 7 sharp 11, and you can hear that at the beginning. That's how it starts. It starts with a direct arpeggio, and then after that, it's superimposing A flat diminished 7th over G7, which is exactly the same as G7 flat 9, and then it resolves itself to E flat major 7. And we have one more example of this, again in minor, and then we're going to see some examples of chords, and I'll let you hear how they sound. Let's hear our fourth example. Alright, our chord progression for our last line is G minor 7 flat 5, C7 flat 9, and F minor 7. We are using D flat major 7 sharp 11 for our first substitution. It goes on to a diminished arpeggio. When C7 flat 9 hits, goes back to F minor. This time we don't use substitution for F minor. We don't have to use diatonic substitutions to play the upper extensions every time we see a new chord. It's a color. It's got a distinct color. So if you study it, own it, you'll know when to use it, or rather let it come out by itself to express your feelings. That's what we're doing. I mean, music is great for expressing your feelings when you're improvising. So that's what we're after. All right, how does that work with chords? Let's take a look at it. Okay, nothing complicated, a regular 2-5-1, but we can embellish it, calibrate. Sometimes you want to move around with the chords. I mean, I don't like people moving around too much when I'm soloing. If I'm moving around when I'm soloing and the accompanist moves around, it's like a big clash. I mean, when I'm accompanying somebody, when soloist plays something busy, I'd like to keep it more flat, less chords, give him more space, and then when he finishes the line, takes a break and leaves a space, then I move around. These kind of embellishments are great for those. Somebody is playing the melody, and when the melody has a big break, then you can color your comping with those extra chords. Here's an embellished version of the same 2-5-1, and we are using diatonic substitutions for this. As you can see, our regular 2-5-1 sounds a lot more colorful. Make sure that goes well with what you're accompanying to. If the melody of the song is busy and if you keep playing a lot of chords behind it, it won't work well. If the melody is steady, playing a long note or leaving space, then you can use colorations for it. Let's try the same thing with minor 2-5-1 this time. Let's hear a regular minor 2-5-1 first. Alright, if we use the same technique, or rather add diatonic substitutions, that's what it would sound like. These diatonic substitutions, you can use it for superimposing lines or when you're accompanying. Of course, we're going to talk about other kinds of substitutions in the future, but I don't see many people talking about this basic substitutions, so that's why I wanted to make a lesson just for this. Alright, that's the end of our lesson, and I'll see you on our next subject. Have a great day.